It is a no, I'm not going to sit inside.
Tide's shifting, boys. Tide is shifting. Remember, Zohran and I are in agreement on virtually everything. And Asmongold has spent the last year talking about how I should be deported, I should be arrested, I should go to jail permanently, I shouldn't be able to say the things that I'm saying. All right, let's see this. Muslim socialist mayor, Republican mom reacts.
When I first saw that New York nominated a Muslim socialist to be the Democratic nominee for the New York City mayor, my very first thought was, this is what you get.
Is that a Brindle Great Dane?
To be
I know this is not the point, but is that a Brindle Great Dane? I've never seen one like
New York
that.
City mayor.
No, that's not a Great
My
Dane.
very first thought.
Never mind. What kind of dog is that?
Very first thought was the New York City mayor. My very first thought.
Bro, lock in. No, it's like a greyhound, but it's Brindle. But it's also much larger than a regular greyhound. It's like Great Dane
This is
size.
what you get
What is that dog, bro?
when the country elects a lunatic like Trump swinging so far to the right. You're going to overcorrect, swinging way too far to the left. But when I started actually listening to him, he's making a lot of sense. And I don't think he's socialist when we think, oh, paranoia, communism. It's not that at all. He's looking at actual issues that are facing New York City, which is the most unaffordable city in America to live in. Like, rather than give $60 million to the big grocery store chains, there's a lot of empty space in New York. So he's going to spend half as much, but give that money to local grocers where they won't have to pay rent, they won't have to pay taxes, and they can actually provide lower cost groceries to the local community. And buses, free. Well, most buses are ridden by working people that have lower income. So
I don't believe this woman is a Republican. Sorry. I don't believe it. And the reason why I don't believe it is because she's demonstrating empathy. And Republicans are entirely incapable of demonstrating empathy. So there is 0% chance that this person is still currently a Republican. It's a big part of being a Republican. A big part of the Republican mindset is an overall refusal to demonstrate empathy unless it's like something happening to you directly. So I'm having a hard time believing this. She's way too articulate. No, there are wine moms that look exactly like this, that sound exactly like this, that live in houses that look exactly like this, that can speak clearly on their POV. Okay. I just don't like the vibes, the house, the wine, her clarity, all of that stuff can be Republican coded. Having said that, however, I think there is something here that's not adding up. And the thing that's not adding up is she has empathy for the working poor. Like, she has an opinion. Like, she understands what other people are going through.
So, like, nobody rides the bus because they want to. That's not a luxury. He wants to freeze spiraling rent costs. He wants to take over properties that are not being.
She's also far too knowledgeable on the actual policies as well. This
really
is just
maintained by the landlords. Like, he really wants to do things for his constituents that will have a meaningful, immediate impact. He's only 33 years old, so he's not yet in anybody's pocket, and he's not afraid. He wants to raise minimum wage to $30 an hour, which seems like an outrageous amount of money, but it's New York City, and that's $30 an hour is about $65,000 a year. People who work in the service industry shouldn't have to commute 2 hours because they cannot afford to live anywhere in the city that they are working in. Frankly, I don't give a shit what party you belong to or what color your skin is. I don't give a shit if you're a freaking Martian. I care about what your policies are and what you're.
Yeah, no, far too informed. You can't fool me on this. Here, let's see what the average Republican. Let's see what an actual Republican supporting Zohran looks like. An actual Republican that's not really a Republican at all, but just simply embodying whatever the Republican collective hive mind in the chat is saying.
Stay in New York City. My plans are to address New Yorkers across the 5 boroughs and focus on that.
Mr. You got my vote. There it is.
There it is.
It's that simple. There's a lot of things I disagree with this guy about, but
like what?
At least
Like what? What are the disagreements? What is the well thought out, reasonable disagreements that you have? I want to know. There it is. There it is, dude.
He's actually trying, right? Yeah, he's got the right answer. They're openly saying, yes, we're going to go over to Israel. You think this guy's so horrible? Then stop putting up people that put Israel ahead of the United States. As a show of force and as a show of protest. It's a show of defiance. It is a show of defiance. It is a protest vote. It is a few. It is a no, I'm not going to sit inside.
Tide's shifting, boys. Tide is shifting. Remember, Zohran and I are in agreement on virtually everything. And Asmongold has spent the last year talking about how I should be deported, I should be arrested, I should go to jail permanently, I shouldn't be able to say the things that I'm saying, all this stuff. And now he's like, yep, there it is. I wonder what changed. Perhaps the tides are shifting and someone is recognizing that because they have one ear to the ground always.
Of this little box that you put me in, I'm gonna go off the rails, and unless you want to follow me, you're gonna lose. Stop giving us candidates that prioritize Israel over New York City. New York City's a PvP server. There's crazy people everywhere in New York City.
What the what? What is okay? Cool. I'm telling you, dude. Yeah, someone that disagrees with you on like 99% of shit, even on Gaza, can agree on Zohran. Interesting. No, there is definitely a growing resentment towards Democrats in particular, but just like all politicians and their unlimited loyalty and support to Israel that is very frustrating to Americans, especially Americans that are experiencing all of this instability, right? If you're an American and you feel like your cities are run like shit, and the only thing that your politicians seemingly care about is Israel, then yeah, of course you're going to be mad. Of course you're going to be like, I don't like this. What the hell is going on? This is dumb as hell. What the hell is this? So I get that. For sure. There is definitely a common Mamdani to Trump voter right here. This is it. Look at this. Working class Hispanic neighborhoods where Zohran Mamdani performed well in the 2025 Democratic primary, they shifted significantly to the right in the 2024 general election. Zohran Mamdani also outperformed Andrew Cuomo in a lot of black neighborhoods as well, like overwhelmingly black neighborhoods, like significantly higher percentage of black people in some neighborhoods in New York than the rest of the country. We're talking like 40%, 40% black neighborhoods. 45% black neighborhoods, and Zohran Mamdani won those districts. He won those neighborhoods. So the idea that oh, black people aren't with him, blah blah blah, all this shit is stupid. It's fake. It's nonsensical. It's bullshit. Having said that, there is still definitely a reliable older boomer voting bloc, especially in places like New York, that is overwhelmingly going to go for the establishment pick, whatever the establishment pick is, whatever the television is saying is like the good choice here. And they definitely went for Cuomo, but it wasn't enough to carry him across the finish line. And Zohran was able to basically pick enough voters from that constituency. But having said that, I think those guys will go for the Democrat. They're straight ticket Democrat voters, reliable Democrat voters. And I highly doubt Andrew Cuomo and all of the media initiatives that might back Andrew Cuomo, all the moneyed interests that might back Andrew Cuomo are going to be able to turn around and get those voters to vote for an independent line when they have been straight ticket, straight line Democrat voters. Remember, these guys are Democrat machine turnout voters, okay? Very, very difficult to take them off the pro-Democrat ticket. This was something that I always talked about. If Bernie was to ever be able to make it out the primary, where the Democrat machine turnout will work against him, all of those votes that are reliable blue votes would always vote for him anyway. Those are the people who vote for Kamala Harris or those are the people who vote for Joe Biden because they're told to vote for Joe Biden. Those are the real vote blue no matter who people. And the real vote blue no matter who people are not going to stray away. They're not going to get off the Democrat ticket, which is like the argument I always made is this. There is a likelihood that someone who voted for Bernie Sanders might not vote for Joe Biden. Okay. That's not a given, but there is no likelihood. There is no likelihood whatsoever that someone who voted for Joe Biden in the primaries is not going to vote for Bernie Sanders in the general. None. The notion that people are going to say, nah, this guy's too progressive for me, can't do it, that does not exist in the establishment Democrat turnout machine. Wouldn't be so sure in municipal politics where another Dem is running. Remember India Walton? No, that's different. You're talking about an incumbent mayor in Buffalo. Okay? You're talking about an incumbent mayor in Buffalo. That's very different. It's a much easier one to tackle. Zohran has national prominence at this point, and New York is like 70-30 Democrat. New York City specifically is 70-30 Democrat. All of the establishment Democrats that might go to Andrew Cuomo won't go to Andrew Cuomo if he's not on if he's not on the Democrat ticket. There will be some, but I don't think it'll be enough to move the needle. That's my point. A big part of why the incumbent mayor who's running on the independent ticket is deeply unpopular is also because he is pro-Trump. He is now basically working at the behest of Trump because he is compromised. Ironically enough, Andrew Cuomo is also just as compromised as Eric Adams is. So all of these reasons are why Zohran's chances are fairly decent.